Hello students, welcome to Royal Palace PU College online classes. As you have already known that we have started a chapter called as PUC first year, chapter number 2, that is biological classification. We have studied in the previous topics such as some basic topics, definitions which come under this chapter, and another topic such as a little introduction to kingdoms of classification. Today we will enter into the exact understanding of one of the kingdom of this chapter. The name of the topic is Kingdom Monera. Dear students, please listen to all these points and carefully write down everything, because this chapter, as far as theory and the NEET examination is concerned, very important. So it is highly recommended that you should understand each and every line of this chapter, so that after 2 years of studying, this chapter becomes the important ones, and you can expect a minimum of 2 questions from this chapter specifically. So without wasting time, let's start understanding this particular topic. So dear students, as I mentioned, today we will be discussing about a topic called as Kingdom Monera. On top I have given as topic number 2 Kingdom Monera, which means that the start of this chapter includes first the introduction to the different kingdoms of classification, after that studying the individual kingdoms. That's why the number topic 2. Since this is a YouTube channel, I will be adding this one as topic 1, 2, 3, etc. etc. So dear students, in the previous class we understood one thing, that is, with respect to different understandings of organisms, with respect to different structural modifications of the organisms, it may be morphological modification or the anatomical modification, with respect to availability of organisms in the entire planet Earth, with respect to how they actually live, where they actually live, what kind of food they eat, how they eat, is it autotrophic, is it heterotrophic. Likewise, I have discussed so many points with you. Today we will actually study one of the kingdom, wherein which we can understand that which type or what type of organisms are found in this particular kingdom. First thing, that the topic name is Kingdom Monera. Dear students, considering the entire life in the planet Earth, we divide it generally in 3 categories. The one, the planet Earth with the plants; 2, the planet Earth with the animals; and 3, the planet Earth with the microorganisms. In this particular topic, we can even understand, see, plants can be once again divided, animals can be once again divided, and even microscopic organisms also once again can be divided. Today is the time to study those microorganisms. Remember, what are microorganisms? Microorganisms are those organisms which can be seen only under the microscope. Those organisms which are very small in nature and cannot be seen by our naked eye and can be seen only under the microscope are the organisms that are called as microorganisms. And there are so many microorganisms. Out of those many microorganisms, one of the dominant group of microorganisms is there, and that is called as a bacterial group. So bacteria very small in nature. They have got different characteristics of structure. They have got different characteristics of function. They have got different characteristics of availability. They have got different characteristics of feeding, eating, ingesting, digesting, etc., etc. So kingdom Monera, let me tell you once again that it includes only the bacterial gang in this particular category. So if you see any kind of a bacteria, that will definitely come under the kingdom Monera only. It has got a special characteristic. The first characteristic is that all the members of kingdom Monera, which means that all the bacteria of kingdom Monera are unicellular in nature. Sir, what is the meaning of unicellular? Unicellular, as I explained in my previous class, that those organisms which are made up of only one cell are called as unicellular organisms. Right? So all the members of kingdom Monera are unicellular in nature, which means that they have got only one cell in their body. Now the second point is that all the members of kingdom Monera are prokaryotic in nature, which means that the organisms which do not have a true nucleus, the organisms wherein which are the inner content of the cell wherein which we see the nucleus is not at all present, is called as the lacking of true nucleus or the prokaryote in nature. Let me tell you once again that kingdom Monera or the bacterial gang or the bacterial members are unicellular prokaryotes in nature. That is the first and foremost thing that you should be remembering. Once again I am repeating that kingdom Monera includes only and only bacteria in its entire family or in its entire kingdom. Now it is time to understand one by one characteristic of this particular kingdom. Let us study them. These are all very easy. You just have to remember them. You just have to write it down. You just have to underline them. You just have to repeat them every day by day, right? Every hour by hour, because these are the points which will be helping a lot for the NEET candidates. So it is like you should be remembering these names, you should be remembering these points, etc., etc., at the repeated point of time. Okay students, so now let's start our understanding, that is the study of general characteristics of kingdom Monera. It is a theory question which might be asked for 5 marks, that write the salient features of kingdom Monera, or write the characteristics of kingdom Monera, or write the feature characteristics of the kingdom Monera. If it is asked for 5 marks, then you should be writing it for 10 points. Okay, you should write each and every content which is specifically connected to this particular kingdom. Okay, first point is that the bacteria are the sole members. First point says the bacteria are the sole members of kingdom Monera, which means that in case of kingdom Monera we see as the members which are generally considered as bacteria only. Leaving bacteria, we cannot see any other microscopic organisms in this particular kingdom. Sir, a question. Sir, what about viruses? They are also microscopic in nature. That's why, my dear children, that in case of kingdom Monera, leaving bacteria, other organisms are not at all included. First point. Now, second says that they are the most abundant microorganisms. Comparing to different varieties of microorganisms present in our planet Earth, these are the organisms which are widely present, varietyly present, in a most spreaded way they are present. They are present in big numbers. Abundant means huge. Abundant is more. Abundant means present almost in every section of this planet Earth. Right? So they are many, they are most, they are huge in numbers as far as microorganisms are concerned. Now the third point says that the bacteria occur almost everywhere. What do you mean by that? Our planet Earth has divided itself into different categories, children. First one, as that we can see, the Earth is divided into as a water place, Earth is divided into a land place, Earth is divided into air space, Earth is divided into mixed content. What am I trying to say here is that we can find different localities, different regions, different places, different geographical areas. We see water, we see sunlight, we see air, we see soil, we see a lot of things. Now, if you consider humans are those organisms which can be seen only in the surface of the soil. Athwa we can say that the humans cannot survive in the water, humans cannot survive in the deep Arctic places, etc. But these are the organisms like bacteria, these are the members of kingdom Monera. They can survive in almost any place. They are found in almost everywhere. They are found in water, they are found in air, they are found in the food, they are found in soil, they are found in a lot of places. You name it and they are present there. Now, if I consider the another point, that is fourth point, hundreds of bacteria are present in handful of soil. See, variety of bacteria are there. So many in number they are there. Thousands together, lakhs together, variety of bacteria, different shaped bacteria, different organismic structure having bacteria, different morphological and anatomical feature having bacteria, different metabolically stable bacteria we see in our nature. So if we take only the handful of soil, and in this soil we see minimum of thousands of varieties of bacteria in just in this particular handful of soil. That is the meaning. Now, if we understand further, they say that they also live in extreme habitats. What do you mean by extreme habitat? See here the word extreme habitat. What is the meaning of that? If cold water is there, athwa coldest temperature is there, then in that particular area, these organisms can survive. If 0 degree is there, minus 10 degrees, minus 20, minus 30, like that, if you go in a minus way also, they are present and they can survive. They can live in those particular areas. Now, if you consider the same thing, positive temperatures such as plus 10, plus 20, plus 30, plus 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, like that also in the extreme temperature conditions also they can live. Habitat is a place wherein which an organism lives. If the water contains less saline water, then also the organisms can live. If the water contains more saline content in it, then also these bacteria can live. If the temperature is highest, then also they can live. If the temperature is lowest, then also these bacteria can live. Now, once again I am telling you that they also live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snow, deep oceans, where very few other life forms can survive. Which means that this is also an important point here, which says that very few organisms can survive in this. So if considering an example of a desert, I can take an example of the camel. Camel and camel-like organisms. I am not saying huge in structure. I am saying that those organisms which can tolerate that kind of huge temperature, they can survive in those places, because from so many years these organisms have adapted themselves with respect to those particular environments. If we take the humans for us like an example, we cannot survive in deserts. It's highly impossible for us to survive in desert because we are not made up Like that, our body cannot survive that much of increased temperature. We do modifications externally, but naturally it's not possible for us to survive there. Of course, I can say that there are some of the snakes which can live in the desert. They have got the modifications, but not all the snakes can live there. Some of the organisms can live in desert, but majority of the organisms cannot. Some of the organisms can live in hot springs also, but the majority cannot. That's why the sentence says that these live in those kind of extreme habitats wherein which the habitual conditions are not normal. Abnormal conditions and abnormal places wherein which other organisms cannot live, but these bacteria can live. Dear students, the members of kingdom Monera are also called as Monerans. Then, dear students, once again I am telling you, kingdom Monera members are also called as Monerans. Okay, now coming to the next point, sixth point, many of them live in or on other organisms such as parasites. I have already given this definition in my first video itself as the basic definitions of this chapter. Parasites, what are parasites? The organisms which can live inside the body of an organism or outside the body of an organism and feeding onto the content of that organism, whatever that he or she eats, and feeding onto it and growing in its entire colony, growing in size, growing in its shape, growing in its family, making members, having the reproduction, etc., etc. The one which lives inside the body of the host or outside the body of the host and feeds and completely dependent on that host is called as the parasite. Dear student, majority of the bacteria can live inside of our body. Not only us, there are so many organisms wherein which these bacteria can survive inside them, which means that they can enter through food, they can enter through water, they can enter through air, they can enter through by a lot of means. Since they are present everywhere, they can enter into our body and they can feel, they can feed, they can prepare, they can show us as they are parasites. Once again, the kingdom Monera members or the Monerans or the bacteria can be parasites also. Now the next thing is about the structure of the bacteria. Let me tell you about the structure, that these bacteria are very simple in nature. They have got very easiest drawing in case of PUC biology chapters. They really have that much of a simplistic organization in their body. As I mentioned in the beginning itself, they are unicellular in nature, which means that there is only one cell which we normally see. Out of this one cell, how can anyone make those many types of different organs or different organ systems? No, it's highly impossible. These organisms are very simple organisms. These organisms' body is very simple in nature. These organisms can show very simple organization also. So these organizations may appear as a simple, let me tell you, may appear as a simple, but in reality they show wide variety of metabolic activities. Okay, so they show different diseases, they show different helps to the humankind. They are simple in their body structure, but they show wide variety of the morphological and wide variety of the internal physiological conditions also. So that's why 7th point says that though the bacterial structure is very simple in nature, they are very complex in behavior. Okay, now let me tell you once again, which is connected to the point number 8, that I told you that there are metabolic activities. Metabolic activities means the chemical reactions. The chemical reactions which are occurring inside the body of any organism, they are called as metabolism, anabolic reactions, catabolic reactions, breaking down reactions, and the constructive reactions. But in case of the kingdom Monera members or the bacteria, they also show variety of chemical reactions in their body. Since there are variety of different bacteria show different chemical activities. A human can utilize these chemical activities, a human can use these chemical properties, a human can understand these bacterial shape and size, and he can go through a lot of chemical processes and he can use it in his day-to-day life, like biotechnology. Right? So I'm telling you that these organisms, comparing to other organisms, show most extensive metabolic diversity, variety of chemical reactions, variety of chemicals which are present onto their body. Like that, there are so many things we can study in case of kingdom Monera. Now, coming to the next point, as the some of the bacteria are autotrophic in nature. Once again, as I explained in my previous video, that what do you mean by autotrophs? Autotrophs are those organisms which can prepare their food and which are not at all dependent on other organisms for their growth and development. They are independent organisms. I can say that parasites are not independent organisms. Since these behave like parasites, these are heterotrophic in nature and these are also pathogenic in nature. We can find the diseases caused by bacteria also. I'm not saying that these are only parasitic and these are only pathogenic and these are only heterotrophic. I'm saying that along with all these characteristics, since these are abundant and huge in number, I'm saying that even the members of kingdom Monera, some of them are even autotrophic in nature, which means that they can prepare their own food. Not all, but some. So here autotrophic, which means that preparing their own food for their growth and development. Out of this autotrophic nature, some say that they are photosynthetic autotrophic or chemosynthetic autotrophic. Sir, what is the meaning of photosynthetic and chemosynthetic? I already told you in my previous video. Photosynthetic utilization of sun as a source of energy and converting that thing into as a source of food. Photosynthesis, right? Utilizing the sunlight and preparing the food. Chemosynthetic, conversion of those inorganic carbon compounds into the sources of food. That is a chemosynthetic autotrophic. But whatever it may be, I can say that these are heterotrophic in nature and these are autotrophic in nature. Both type of organisms we can find in case of bacteria. As I was telling that most of the members of the kingdom Monera or the bacteria are heterotrophic in nature, that we have seen in we are seeing in point number 11. They do not synthesize their own food for their growth and development, and of course they are completely dependent on other organisms for their growth and development. So if I say that they are parasites, then I am saying that they are heterotrophs. If I am saying that they are pathogenic, I am saying that they are heterotrophs. Okay, so these can be present inside the body or outside the body of an organism as the parasites. These are disease causing in nature, which means that pathogenic in nature, and these can even be present on dead organic matter also. Right? If any organism dies and in that dying process or after the death, there will be accumulation of these particular bacteria. These feed on the dead organisms and behave like heterotrophic saprophytes, decomposers, etc., etc. Now, once again, I am coming to the point number 11, that majority of the organisms, majority of the bacteria, majority of kingdom Monerans are heterotrophic in nature, which means that they do not prepare their own food for their growth and development. They are completely dependent on other organisms for their growth and development. Now, coming to the last point, that is the types of bacteria. Dear students, since I am saying from the beginning that there are so many varieties of bacteria, Out of these bacteria, we cannot say that all the bacteria look alike, all the bacteria behave the same, all the bacteria are disease causing in nature, all the bacteria having the same shapes, all the bacteria are very goodful for human being. No, 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 no. Different organisms, different bacteria having different structural complexities and different variety of their applications and disadvantages. But before that, we need to understand that what are the different shapes that we can study, that we can see in kingdom Monera. Such as the first one here is the spherical bacteria, or we can even call that as the spherical coccus shaped bacteria. Coccus, which means that spherical, spherical means round shaped bacteria, right? Globular bacteria, like this. These are called as spherical bacteria, and when you see these kind of bacteria, you have to say that these are coccus. If you go for the plural word, the word is cocci. Okay, the first variety is coccus shape. Second variety is the rod shaped bacteria. Rod shaped bacteria look like this. Right, these are rod shaped bacteria, and they are all also called as bacillus. The first one, round shaped bacteria, are called as a spherical coccus shaped, and the second one is rod shaped or bacillus, and the third one is comma shaped. This might appear as 9 and 9, but in reality comma, right? These are called as the comma shaped bacteria or vibrio or vibrium bacteria. The last one is spiral or spirillum or spirilla, right? So these four different shapes. The first one is round shape, second one is rod shape, third one is the comma shape, and the fourth one is the spiral shape. I can even go for the photo also. This photo is already given in our NCERT textbook directly. NCERT. Now from the NCERT textbook only I have taken this photo, wherein which you can say that, see here, as the round shaped cocci bacteria, rod shaped bacillus or bacilli, and here you can say that these are the comma shaped spirilla, and here the last one the vibrio, right? Spirillum, these are the spirillum, comma shaped vibrio. Right, so as you can see here, the first one spherical round shape, rod shaped the bacilli, and the comma shaped vibrium, and the last one is the spiral. So here this one in my notes, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and this one is 4, right? Vibrio, comma shape, spiral, this is the spiral shaped, right? Okay students, I hope you understood this particular topic. In this topic I have explained about kingdom Monera. Let me divide this kingdom Monera into two videos. The lecture 1 about the kingdom Monera's different characteristics. In the examinations you will find these characteristics very important for the theory and need purposes also. Let me divide it once again another section, wherein which I'll tell you the types of kingdom Monera, and in this particular video I'll be explaining only the generalized characteristics of kingdom Monera. In the next video I'll tell you about the different types of the bacteria, different types of the members of kingdom Monera, their function, etc., etc. Dear students, in this particular topic you need to remember about the different examples, about the different reactions, about the different words, about the different content that I have been explaining from the starting of this chapter. chapter. I hope you're understanding it. If you're not understanding, pause the video. If you get any confusion, please ask a question. Send me the question, I'll try to figure it out and I'll try to help you as best as possible. You just have to make sure that you have understood this particular online video. Okay, since I'm finishing this topic, I'm feeling that you understood this video. Watch this video again and again, and if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. I'll come with the another video, that is a promise. And until that time, be safe, maintain social distancing, study well, and meet you very soon. Thank you very much, students. God bless you all.